Welcome to this video for Digital Spring 2020. This video was produced by Elaine Topham from the Grimsby Institute Group, and the subject is Accessibility Doesn't Have to Cost the Earth. Hello and welcome to this video on using accessibility features within Office 365 and Windows 10. Today we'll be looking at Immersive Reader, Read Aloud, Dictate, Translator, Office Lens, and finally the Ease of Access Center in Windows 10. So let's get started. So there's a range of accessibility features to help with audio needs. You can add closed captions for your videos in PowerPoint and Sway. So that's the ability to upload a file with what the closed captions should say with timings in. You can add in automatic live captions for PowerPoint with the presentation translator add-in. You can also produce auto-generated captions and transcriptions for videos in Microsoft Stream. That will even work for videos that you produce and then upload to Stream, as long as you choose the language is English. And you can also add in live captions for Microsoft Teams meetings, meaning that participants can view the captions in their own language in live, real time. So now we'll take a look at the visual accessibility features in Office 365. You have the ability to add text descriptions to all visual objects in all applications, and this allows a screen reader to be able to interpret that visual information and be able to let someone know what it contains. The applications also have a fantastic feature where they're able to automatically suggest text for alt descriptions for images, and this is powered by AI. You also have the ability to record narrations of PowerPoint slides, and you can embed audio recordings in ONENOTE and also in Sway. And finally, there's the text accessibility features. So using the application Office Lens, you're able to transform printed text into searchable Office files using optical character recognition. You can also make content easy to navigate with built-in accessible styles, so using your heading styles within Word, for example. And finally, you can make hyperlinks more readable by adding display text so it doesn't just show the URL. Not only that, but Office 365 and the Office applications have accessibility features built right into them. So we can use the accessibility checkers in Office on PC, Mac and web apps to easily find accessibility issues and fix them with detailed guidance on how to do so. You're also able to use accessible templates within the Office applications, and these can be accessed when you're starting a new document by typing the word accessible. And finally, you can create accessible emails and export formats. Outlook has a feature so that you can request content in an accessible format, and also when content is exported from Office, the PDF is tagged so that things can be found with a screen reader within the document. So let's take a look at our first application, which is Immersive Reader, one of my favourites. So it's available in a range of different applications, so from Word, OneNote, Edge, Microsoft Teams, Forms, and a whole range of other applications since Microsoft released the APIs so that any third-party application can implement Immersive Reader into their application. The text preferences allow you to customize the font style, size, spacing and background color, and the grammar tools allow you to break up the words or syllables or highlight the parts of speech such as nouns, verbs or adjectives. The reading preferences provide further features such as line focus, the picture dictionary and translate. So these features can actually support a wide range of learners. There's also the Read Aloud feature in Immersive Reader, but we'll take a look at that in a moment. So here we have some information about the history of steam trains and railways. I'm in OneNote Windows 10 app. The Immersive Reader is found on the View menu, and you'll see there the button for Immersive Reader. So if I press that now, that's going to load Immersive Reader. It's important to note that Immersive Reader does not change the content. So it merely changes the way the content is viewed. As you'll see, it's already loaded with a lavender colour page and with the syllables highlighted within the text. That's because that was my previous settings. So Immersive Reader retains your settings from one use to the next. You've got the text preferences on the first menu, which will allow you to change the text size, spacing, font style, and even the background colour. My preferred colour is lavender. You then have the grammar options, so this is where you can turn on the syllables and where you can highlight different types of words within the speech. So you'll see here now all the verbs are highlighted in red. Finally, there's the reading preferences. So if you have learners that struggle with focus, you can actually reduce the text that they will read at a time so that they can only read 3 words at a time. That way they can focus more on what they're reading. You can change that to have 1 line, 3 lines, or 5 lines. You'll also see here that I've got the picture dictionary on, and I've got translate set to translate into Chinese by word. So the way that works is simply clicking on the words in the text and it will bring up the picture dictionary and the translated word. And you can listen to that.
庆祝
And you can listen to the English word.
Celebrated.
But the images should help learners to understand what the word means if they are unfamiliar with it. Finally, at the bottom here, you have the read aloud preferences, so the voice speed and the voice selection. To listen to the document, you just need to press play.
Celebrated the bicentenary of the steam railway locomotive with a year-long events program.
So now we'll take a quick look at the Immersive Reader in Word Online. So same text in a Word document, this time in my in the cloud. And again, Immersive Reader can be found on the View ribbon. So if I click Immersive Reader now, it's slightly different behaviour with Word Online. It has to load it first. So now I'm in my document. You'll see that it's exactly the same as it was in Windows 10 version of ONENOTE. So I've got all the same tools under the text preferences. We've got the same grammar options that we had in ONENOTE Windows 10. And we've got the same reading preferences as well here. This time, obviously, I'll demo the translate, so I can translate by document. The nice feature when you do translate by document is the ability to go back. Just turn the line focus off. It's the ability to go back to the original as well, so that you can always see what the original text said. Read aloud will still work with a translated document.
Изобретение, което промени света, е 200 години през 2004. Великобритания отпразнува 200-годишнината на парния железопътен локомотив с целогодишна програма за събития. Но...
So we can use this to support learners of any language. And finally, Immersive Reader is also available in Microsoft Edge. I'm using the new version of Microsoft Edge with the latest release of Windows, and it's built right into the address bar. So only certain websites will actually work with the Immersive Reader, and it depends on how much text is on the page, whether it's in frames, whether it can be picked up by Immersive Reader. But the great thing with Immersive Reader is that it will actually cut down a lot of the clutter from websites, meaning that even if your learners want to read the information, it puts it in a more palatable format. So let's jump into Immersive Reader in Edge. And here you'll see that the page colour is again pinky purple. So the text looks exactly the same as it did on the web page, except this time all of the panels down the side have been removed. So I'm just looking at the content that I need to read. As with Immersive Reader in Word and in ONENOTE, we've got pretty much the same features. So I've got my text preferences, so I can change the text size and the text spacing, and I'm able to change the background colour here as well. We have the grammar tools where I can change into syllables and I can highlight parts of speech. The one thing that is missing from Immersive Reader in Edge is the ability to change your reading preferences, including your line focus, picture dictionary, and translate feature. So they are unfortunately not yet in Edge. However, you can see now that I can access Read Aloud.
The history of steam trains and railways. An invention that changed the world was 200 years old in 2004.
Britain celebrated the bicentenary of the steam railway locomotive with a year-long.
And this one has considerably more voices in it. So this is a good way that learners can access information on the web in a format that fits them. So here you can see the Microsoft Learning Tools availability table. It's quite a complicated diagram, but it shows you where all these features are available. If you haven't quite got the feature on your platform or device, it may be that you require an update, or the feature perhaps hasn't rolled out to you yet, as Microsoft work on a kind of ring system where these updates get pushed out eventually. But this is the intended locations that all of these features will be found. You can also see down the bottom there a link to the Learning Tools flyer with lots of useful information on it. We're now going to look at the Read Aloud features. As previously mentioned, this is available within Immersive Reader, but it's also available as a standalone tool within other applications like Word. You can customise the voice between male and female, and you can alter the playback speed to suit your preference. And that's pretty much it. So let's take a look. Read Aloud can be accessed in Word or in a variety of other applications as already shown as it's part of Immersive Reader. In Word desktop, Read Aloud can be found on the review ribbon. You can also add it to your quick access toolbar up at the top by making sure it's ticked here. So if we click
The man who
Read
first
Aloud,
put steam engines on rails was a tall, strong Cornishman described by his schoolmaster as obstinate and inattentive.
I can change the reading speed as previously, and I can also choose one of 3 voices.
Richard Trevithick, 1771 to 1830.
I can pause, read aloud, and I can exit it. The Dictate tool is available in a range of applications, mostly Word, Word Online, Outlook, PowerPoint and OneNote. It allows you to speak and it quickly and easily converts that spoken language into written text in your documents. It's fairly accurate, however I would recommend that you read anything back that you've dictated to ensure 100% accuracy. And on the right hand side here you'll see some of the languages that you can dictate using in Word. So here I am in the desktop version of Word and I'm going to demo Dictate to you now. Dictate can be found in other applications such as Outlook and PowerPoint, but the button here is on the home ribbon in Word. I can choose the language that I want to dictate in, and when I press the microphone button, the dictate will start. When you hear that noise, it means that dictation has begun. Full stop. New line. You can format the paragraphs as such, and it will adjust the text as you talk. You can obviously then go back and edit the text later when you read back through it. Now we'll have a look at Translator. So Translator is available as an app on iOS or Android, but it's also web-based and can be accessed via translator.microsoft.com. Once you visit translator.microsoft.com, if you have a code, you can join a conversation that's already running, or by signing in with your Microsoft or Google accounts, you're able to start a new conversation, which then gives you a code which you can share with participants so they can join your chat. Microsoft Translator supports more than 60 languages currently, and they're always developing more. You can have real-time conversations with up to 100 people using Microsoft Translator. So let's have a look at it in action. So here we are at the Microsoft Translator website. The web address is simply translator.microsoft.com. When you first come here, you'll be invited to join a conversation, and here you need to enter the conversation code. So if you're in a session or a conference and somebody gives you a code to join Translator, this is where it will go. You put your name in and you choose your language. But for this demo, I'm going to show you how to start a conversation. So to start off with, you need to log in with either your Microsoft, Facebook or Google accounts, and that will enable you to create your first conversation. Once you're signed in, then that will ask you what your name is and what your language is. If you tick the box for I am using this product in a classroom, this will disable the participant's ability to talk back to you. You may not want this in all situations. Pressing enter will start the room. It will take a minute or two just to prepare the room for you and to get you in. But once it's done, you will see a code and a QR code, and that enables your participants to join your chat. Once your participants have joined, you can start to converse with them in a couple of different ways. So you can either type your messages into the text box, or you can hold the microphone down and speak to them like that. How are you today? The participants can then talk back, or they can type back in the same way that you can. I'm fine, thank you. So now you can see the conversations going there. Obviously, I'm just using 2 English participants, but you could have French, you could have Chinese, you could have Russian, pretty much anyone really of any language. If you wish to prevent the participants from talking, you can switch presenter mode on, and that will prevent other people from being able to message, and it will move into more of a live transcribe mode. You can also choose to mute participants or to remove them from the chat entirely. Clicking the exit button will end the conversation for all participants. So now I'm going to demo to you how Translate works on an Android device. So if I load Translator up, the icon that looks like 2 people talking to each other will allow me to input my conversation code. So I'm actually going to use the camera icon to scan the QR code. And now that's picked up the conversation code and it's inputted my name and my language already. So if I now enter the conversation, once I'm in the conversation, I'll get a little message telling me that I'm in there. And now anything that is typed from other parties in the conversation in their language will come through to me in my own language. So it's really, really good. You can have participants from all over the world in their own language talking together, and Translate is a fantastic way to break down those language barriers and to make sure that everybody can be understood. One final little thing, when we exit the translation conversation, we are given the option to save a transcription. Clicking here will download the transcript of the chat from the conversation, so we have this later. When the person that created the conversation ends the conversation, all other participants will be removed. Office Lens is a fantastic tool and everyone should have this one in their pocket. It's available on Windows, Android and iOS devices, and it uses the camera on your device to scan documents, whiteboards, etc. It converts them to digital files depending on the output that you choose, depends on what it will do with it. So typically you can convert to images, PDFs, or even Word documents, and if the text is readable, it will OCR the text in your Word document so you can even edit it afterwards. Let's have a look at Office Lens in action. So now I'm going to demo to you Office Lens, and Office Lens is available on Android and iOS. So basically there's a few features down the bottom here that will allow you to customize the type of document that you're scanning. So I'm actually scanning a document here. So if I hold that over my document, it does help if your document's got a different contrasting background. It'll help to pick up the edges of your document a little bit more easily. Okay, so I'm just going to click on that to make sure that gets the right part. and then take a photo of that. You'll see that Office Lens actually changes and makes the image look a little bit more presentable. And if, like this document, we have 2 pages, I can press the Add New button at the bottom, and that's going to now let me turn the page over and scan the second page of the document. So if I was not happy with these, I can crop them, I can rotate these, and the crop actually works in a very, very strange kind of angled way. So it allows you to really get to the edges of the document and make it look as rectangular as possible. Once you've done this, you can rotate and amend the settings of this as you wish. Swiping up will give you filters if you really want to put filters onto your Office Lens documents. And when I press done, now that's going to take me on to how do I want to save this file. So I give it a name, scan1 will do. And then I get the option of what type of file do I want to save that as. Now, depending on which account you're using with your Office Lens, depends on where you can send it to. So I'm going to actually send this over to my gallery, and I'm going to send it to Word as well as an OCR. You'll notice down the bottom that there is actually a button for Immersive Reader. So should I wish, I can use that to read out the document to me. So this can be really good for learners that perhaps struggle to read written language.
One of the biggest challenges any leader and any organization faces is how to engage employees.
So that's the Immersive Reader in Office Lens. When I'm happy with that, I can just press save, and now that's going to save my document to both Word and to the gallery. Once it's finished transferring to my OneDrive, then I'll be able to view that Word document. Pressing it from the Office Lens screen opens up Word. And now you'll see here, my document is actually editable. So if I now wish to amend the text in this document, I can. Obviously, I need to check through this and make sure it's accurate. And to help you do that, at the very, very bottom of the document, Office Lens includes the images of the actual scan for you. And that's all. So here are some of the new features for Windows 10. Some of these have been out quite a while but have become improved, and one, for example, number 4, the eye control, is a fairly new feature within Windows 10. The colour filters allow you to change the colour filters of your device to suit your colour blindness, or perhaps you might have migraines and require the screen to be a little bit less bright, so you can use the colour filters for that. Narrator will read out text from your screen anywhere on a Windows 10 device. And magnifier will zoom into the device as well, so it doesn't just zoom in-app, it zooms into the entire operating system. Eye control needs a suitable tracking device to track your eye movements, but that's a new feature being built into Windows 10. The Ease of Access Centre can be accessed via the settings in Windows 10. If we visit the settings, you'll see the area for ease of access here. The tools are organised by vision, hearing and interaction, and so depending on the learning need, you can choose the tool that suits. Here we can see the colour filters. Changing them to on will set it to grayscale, which is a setting that I commonly have to reduce the strain on my eyes. But you'll see down here there's different colour settings for different colour blindness and 3 different types there. For learners that require high contrast to enable them to see the settings more easily, you can turn that on in the Ease of Access Centre as well. Similarly, Narrator and Magnifier can also be accessed via the Ease of Access Centre, and this is where you can customise the way that these tools will work. There's quite a lot of settings for some of these features, and I won't go into all of them here, but please do take the time to understand the different features available. For hearing, you can actually change the different closed caption settings and the colours and the way that they appear. This can help if the captions are hard to read and you need to change the different backgrounds and font sizes, etc. Finally, the different types of interactions with your PC. So if you have a mobility issue which prevents you from utilising a mouse or other interaction device, then you can use speech to interact with your PC. You can also change the mouse settings, as sometimes people like to use the numeric keypad to move the mouse around. And finally, the latest features of eye control. If you have a device that works with eye tracking, then you can set this up on your PC. Have a look through the settings, there's a whole range of different features in here. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it useful. All of the tools covered in this video are free, they're easy to use and they're accessible to our learners. There's an increasing range of applications implementing Immersive Reader, so keep your eye out for the symbol that shows you that it uses Immersive Reader. And finally, why should we use these tools? Because it creates more independent students who can personalise their own content to suit their preferences. This is giving them the skills that they need to go out and be employable citizens. Thank you.